Hello everybody, good afternoon, welcome to another Art for All group. My name is Lucy, I'm a creative artist working at St Christopher's Hospice. Normally we have a group that runs in our anniversary centre every Tuesday afternoon at 2 p.m, but during lockdown and shielding and social distancing we've moved the group online, so this is where we are today. And today I'd like to share with you some different ideas around op art and op art painting. I was thinking about things that people could do at home, and I think I saw something about the artist Bridget Riley, who I'll talk to you a little bit about, and some of the work that she did, and it gave me an idea of something that anyone can very easily do at home. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen with you, so I'll do that now. Okay, so here we go. So here we are, we have op art, and op art came about in the 1960s. Some of you might remember all the psychedelic patterns that happened around then and optical illusions in art, and it was came around at the same time as kind of space age design and futuristic looks and interiors, and just people playing with abstraction, playing with colour, and seeing what could happen when people did different things. So I'll show you some paintings, so some 2D works of art, and I'll also show you works of art that I suppose I feel are inspired by op art today, and they sort of have changed a bit. So first of all, I'm going to talk to you about an artist, Bridget Riley, who a lot of you might already know, and this is a picture, one of a slightly later picture of hers, I think. I think it says 1973 there, and it says after Rajasthan. So Bridget Riley started out actually in a post-impressionist style and really looking at pointillism, so lots of the dot work that you see in kind of late, sort of related to impressionism. She worked in advertising, and then she developed a black and white style that played with kind of gradations of, eventually gradations of colour, but also kind of ways of seeing with her eyes and kind of, playing with depth, playing with perception. And she was from Norwood, and she actually taught at Croydon College of Art, amongst other art schools, Loughborough School of Art, so she's very much from around the same neck of the woods as St Christopher's. So one reason why I've included her work today, and also because she was one of the originators of op art. So the next person I'm going to talk about is Vasiley. So this is kind of mixing figurative art, so you can see two zebras, but also we're not quite sure where the first one, well, which zebra is further forward, which zebra is further backward. They're kind of merging into each other, and the white stripes going to the black stripes. It's kind of, it's patterned. You can imagine this repeated over and over, but it's also a standalone image as well. And this is by an artist called Jesus Solo, and this is actually a sculpture. So you could walk around this, you can see that there are bars coming up from the floor, bars coming down from the ceiling, so almost like being in a cave with stalagmites and stalactites. But as you move around this, the colours of the bars are really important because they'll change your perception of what the structure actually is. And you've also got the set out in rows, so if you move around, the sculpture I suppose obscures other parts of the sculpture to make flat planes of colour or more solid bits of colour that then make you think that the surrounding parts are kind of lighter in colour, whereas actually there's just fewer bars. So it's very clever and almost mathematical as well. I think that's what maybe struck me about a lot of these works, is that they're kind of where art and maths meet. So, and this is a very, very recent image. This is the Infinity Mirror Room by Yoyoikosama, and again I would see this as op art. There's kind of this optical illusion, this hall of mirrors going on forever, so you're standing in infinity, so it's almost like standing in the middle of space. And that maybe makes me think of the mathematics of space and the mathematics of gravity and planets, where you could almost be, you don't quite know which way is up and which way is down, and that's true of a lot of op art. And finally, or maybe not finally, actually, no, the next one, this, I suppose I may be stretching things a bit to sort of include this as art. This was the rain installation at the Barbican, and this is where a computer sensed where people were in the room, and there was these raindrops falling down over this grid you can see here at the bottom to drain all the water away. But as you walked in to the room, the computer sensed where you were, so you didn't get rain on you. You could walk through this rainstorm and not get wet. So this kind of this optical illusion, maybe it's not, this is where maybe the optical illusion becomes no longer an illusion, because you are moving through, but you are still in the rainstorm. So there's maybe, it's related, but somehow I felt it was related. Maybe it's just the colours, the black and white, or maybe it's kind of the movement through or the sensing of something but not actually being in it. So the feeling of depth and space but not, and the feeling of reality but not. So yeah. And finally, this is a recent exhibition which was on at the Royal Academy, some of you might have been to. This was at the Anthony Gormley exhibition, and yeah, it's almost like somehow we've become, where the rain room, you were in sculpture and not, I suppose, not touched by it. With this, it's almost, you become part of the sculpture and you kind of have to creep around the edges of the room. It's quite actually having to step over bits of the sculpture and kind of get within it. And the sculpture fills the room and you become part of the optical illusion as well, that this is kind of the sculpture but made large. So yeah, that was yeah, these images that I felt were yeah, things related to op art. So there we go. Those were all the images. And now the art activity that I thought was related is nothing quite as grand as this. So what I've done is, you might be able to see, I've drawn around my left hand. So this is really, really easy. Actually, even if you maybe are having difficulty holding a pencil at the moment, if you have someone else who can draw around your hand, so like this, and you can see I've done lines across, they're not very accurate lines, so I've done straight lines up to the edge of my hand here, and then curved lines. So I've done this in pencil, and what I've left my little finger up here, so I'll show you what you do. You then join the lines up with a curved line, so it's straight lines in between your fingers or on the outsides of your hand. So these lines are all straight. Then when you get to where your hand is, you curve. And I've done it sort of fairly inaccurately, but it's still, you can still see this kind of outline of my hand. And eventually I will rub out the pencil line as well, and you'll see this kind of, this illusion of a hand kind of being in the picture. And that's essentially what op art is, just kind of giving the illusion, playing with line, playing with perspective, and something that actually we can all do at home. If you want to make it really, really detailed, you can have the lines very, very close together, and then that makes more of a 3D effect. I got a little bit lazy up here and just had the lines quite far apart, but if you put them quite close together, then actually you get a much better effect, as you can see down here, and actually on some of the fingers as well. Yeah, so something very simple you can do at home. So thank you very much for joining today and for listening to me talk about op art, and also I hope you have a go at this as well, because it's very simple, really easy to do. And also, if you're now not shielding anymore, if you're able to see your grandchildren, able to see your children, something that children can do really easily as well, and you might have a whole gallery of all your hands together. So all the very best for the week ahead, and thank you very much for joining. I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you, bye bye.